Good morning, all. Thank you for being brave enough to come together for the morning meditation. People are very, obviously, acutely aware of the dangers of the coronavirus and the social upheaval that's happening. And there's a lot of alarm, as you know, in the various media. But what we don't realise is that by far the most dangerous thing in our lives is our own mind. Our own mind is the source of unhappiness, anxiety, emotional difficulties, in an obvious sense, in an overt sense, and what we're very much unaware of, in an underlying sense, the reverberations of our past actions manifest as or influence our experience of life now. This is the karmic cause and effect. Difficult to recognise, but the more superficial mental attitudes are easy to recognise. And this is far more dangerous than any, infectious disease, any accident, any pollution. The problems which grab the headlines. Now, it's not that we should not do something about as much as we can to overcome these external problems. Of course we should. And we should help those suffering as a result of those problems. But each of us individually, only you and I have access to our own minds. Everybody only has access to their minds. So only each one of us can overcome the most dangerous thing in life. Right? When I talk about danger, I'm talking about things which interrupt our attainment of happiness and peace. Things which cause unhappiness and lack of peace within the mind. And these all evolve or are centred upon acute self-consciousness, a sense of me being an independent person from everyone and everything else, and I want my happiness, self-centeredness, seeing me as number one and others as secondary. So this acute self-consciousness leads us to craving and grasping and pining for the good things and always going into fantasies, imagining how we could be happy. And aversion, hostility, anger towards anyone or anything which we perceive as being blocking our happiness and causing us pain. We all know the expression, nobody's perfect. But we tend to focus on the imperfections of others. That's what we talk about. That's what we gossip about. The gossip columns and so on. We tend not to focus upon our own imperfections. We gloss over them. We rationalise them. I have every right to be angry towards this person. and we feed our attachment and desire and our jealousy and our pride. But those very emotions of pride, jealousy, anger, attachment, they are the danger. They prevent us from experiencing the peace and happiness that we all deserve and we're all seeking. So the meditation, the first half of the meditation is mindfulness, which mindfulness in a general context means being aware of the thoughts, what's behind my thinking and my behaviour in life and the words I say to others, and being analytical. Now, why did I say that? Am I trying to impose my view, my way, the right one, upon others? So, we need to be mindful of the emotions, the motivations behind our actions, because we can change them. We can change them. Yeah, others are imperfect also, but there's no point on dwelling on their negative characteristics. Almost impossible to change them. Parents can't change their children's minds. Children can't change their parents' minds. Husbands and wives can't get on with each other because they only focus on the fault of the other person. And therefore, disharmony reigns supreme. And there's no room for love, respect, forgiveness, and peace and happiness, which come from those attitudes. So mindfulness means to watch, to be aware of what we're thinking and why we're thinking it, and to dissect out an unskillful, a selfish purpose, and to replace it with a selfless purpose. So seeing the needs of others is more important than mine. So that is a synopsis of the meaning of mindfulness. In formal meditation, we reflect upon events, what's going on at home, at work, or wherever. And to recognise the error from our side. It's not that others don't have errors, but very difficult to change that, but we can change our side of the equation. We can change. We must change. Okay. So we begin the meditation by trying to quieten the mind, the stream of thoughts, by focusing upon the coming and going of the breath at the nostrils, just the sensation of the air as it enters the nostrils and leaves the nostrils, breathing normally. But not going into a trance, but being very clear, alert of the entire process of inspiration, expiration, inspiration, being very clear. Then, when you're ready, start reflecting upon what's going on in your life. Analyze the verbal, I won't say dispute, but the verbal interaction that they've had. And try to be open, try to recognise the selfishness, the anger, the attachment, the desire, the pride in our minds, which is a problem for me and for the other person. And think of how you can diffuse that energy, and by seeing the good qualities of others. Right, so nobody is perfect, but nobody is totally imperfect either. People have good and bad qualities. Instead of dwelling on what we perceive as their bad qualities, and often our perception is wrong, dwell upon their good qualities. Now I'm talking about your husband, your wife, your children, your parents, your friends, your neighbours, the people you interact with every day. So this meditation, after having stilled the mind by watching the breath, and then reflecting, analysing what's going on in my life, and what mistakes am I making that I can repair. Right? So it's called analytical healing. My teacher, Lama Thubten, used to call it he used to say, be your own psychoanalyst, right? And that's what it's all about. Observe the mistake and correct it in your own mind. And it's much cheaper than going to a psychiatrist. And more effective. All right. So sit comfortably with your back straight, hands in your lap, thumbs together. And initially, focus your entire attention on the coming and going of the breath. And when you feel ready, you can let go of the breath and, as I've just explained, reflect upon what's going on in your life and how from your side you can overcome your problems and make things better. think that when you have difficult communication with others in your life, they're seeing you just as you are seeing them. Personally, like you, they want recognition, affection, and even love. But they focus on your negative qualities, which makes them more hostile towards you, just as you want love, affection, recognition, support, but you focus on their negative qualities, and that makes you see them in a bad light. They can't do anything right. They don't do things your way. And so you become hostile towards them. This activity contaminates every relationship between humans, even animals. It's simply being aware that we all fundamentally think in the same way, sometimes skillfully, sometimes unskillfully. Opens the door in your mind for empathy, to be able to put yourself in their shoes, and without fear of being rejected, without fear of being used, giving them the attention, the friendship, and the love that they need. So much better than being defensive, resentful, hiding in our own shell of pretense. Even if our affection and friendship is not reciprocated, that doesn't matter at all. If we feel hurt, then it wasn't genuine friendship that we were offering towards them. It was self-centered attitude of wanting to be liked, praised oneself. When there is genuine affection for others, that attitude itself is so beautiful, subjectively pleasant, peaceful. And there is no offence if our offer of friendship and love are rejected. There can be no offence from our side when our love and friendship are genuine. Free from self-centeredness. This is the method to communicate properly with your family, friends, and strangers. Even your pet animals. Now you can quietly relax, take a short break, stretch your legs if you like, and then we'll start again. Now, we've all been able to see how adversity brings out the worst in people. And the worst means self-centeredness, where people collapse into abuse, hatred, even physical conflict with others over a roll of toilet paper. Only thinking of themselves, not thinking of others. The average person in the street can become a maniac, and we are all average people on the street. With an underlying sense of self-importance. My happiness, my freedom from pain is more important than yours. Don't get in my way. We've also heard of the concept of unconditional love. Genuine, sincere affection for another with no strings attached. Have we ever experienced such an emotion? So-called loving others, purely thinking of their happiness, their peace, their joy, without wanting something in return. Wanting their love, their affection. Probably we've never ever experienced in our own mind unconditional love. But it is possible. Simply by having the mental attitude of seeing others as more important than oneself. So for the second part of the meditation, as I do each time I lead, we'll meditate on training our mind in the outgoing attitude of affection towards all others. So begin by, as before, checking your physical posture and then focusing your entire attention upon the breath coming and going at your nostrils. And then through the power of your imagination, imagine your mother is meditating beside you, to your left, appearing young and healthy as she was when you were born. Although we cannot remember, think through logic how she must have looked after us, tenderly, protecting us, feeding us, cleaning us, giving us her love when we were helpless babies. As you reflect on the enormous amount of time and energy and love your mother gave to you when you were young, let the thought arise, how wonderful if I could repay her kindness. Arising with this thought is a great sense of warmth in your heart towards your mother. And focusing at your heart, imagine that this warm appreciation and love for your mother flows out from the seat of your emotions at your heart in the aspect of shining white nectar that continually pours out from your heart and gradually fills your entire body with a blissful sensation and healing all mental and physical problems you may have, as well as their causes. Then imagine that you send a stream of this blissful, healing nectar of warmth, appreciation and love from your heart to your mother's heart. And she too is filled with that blissful healing nectar, removing all her physical, mental problems and their causes. think that wherever she is now, still in this life or in her future life, you have heart-to-heart communication with your mother as you delightfully repay her kindness towards you when you were young. Then imagine your father, young and healthy, meditating to your right. Similarly, think of his kindness towards you in your life. Generate the warmth of affection and send a stream of the blissful healing energy to his heart as with your mother. Then imagine your remaining family and friends, your partner, your children, brothers, sisters, and so on, all meditating behind you, and thinking of each one in turn. Generate warm affection and send streams of this blissful healing nectar to each one. Then imagine in front of you are those who you discriminate against with dislike, anger, rejection, even hatred, whether they're humans or animals. And seeing them as not different from yourself. They're all fathers, mothers, brothers, sisters to others who see them in a very different light from your own. With forgiveness and free from feeling resentful, equally send streams of the blissful healing nectar of love and affection to their hearts as well. Then imagine all remaining living beings from throughout the universe, all around you, extending out to the horizon, and seeing them all as your universal family. Generate universal love and affection, and imagine countless streams of the blissful healing nectar radiates out from your body, touching the hearts of all beings throughout the universe. Think that through the power of your love, all living beings everywhere, including mother, father, family and friends and enemies, all achieve their supreme potential of enlightenment or Buddhahood. Totally free from all suffering and its causes. From death, uncontrolled rebirth, from sicknesses and aging, the blissful healing energy of universal affection that had radiated out from your body flows back into you, filling your body from head to toe, the shining white nectar of universal love. Imagine that all the beings around you have become Buddhas and their environments dissolve away into clear empty space. All that remains is the outline of your old body, filled with this blissful healing nectar of love, floating like a bubble in clear, empty space. And imagine that your own body too dissolves away into clear space from outside in. The last point to go is at your heart, and all that remains is your blissful mind, experiencing single-pointedly universal love and affection. the old sense of self, the solid, concrete image of a real true me which I have cherished, throughout this life and in past lives. That self-image which is innately mistaken because we do not exist in the way we think we exist. That image is totally gone. And you have the wisdom, seeing your ultimate reality, shunyata. Then the power of universal love manifests once again as blissful, shining light that takes the form of your old body with your mind inside. But think that the old body and mind, which were the results of karma and disturbing emotions, have gone forever. And now, your body and mind are the direct results of unified wisdom and compassion. The whole purpose of your life, your reason for existence, is to ease the burden of suffering of others and to bring them happiness however you can. In all actions of your body, your speech, and your mind. So this is the method that you are going to deal with the difficulties of the current epidemic, the current social upheaval of loss of employment, enforced isolation, the death of your family and friends, and even yourself. This is the medicine, the supreme medicine for you and others. And with that thought, gradually relax and stop the meditation.